Hey there, BZ people, and welcome to another episode of the Pokemon Black Chainlocke. Don't forget, if we can get 10 likes on this video, we will get a bonus episode of the Chainlocke next week. Also, don't forget, if you want to see this streaming live, I do this for about an hour and a half every Tuesday morning at 7:30 Central Time. Let's get busy and get to the video. So, okay, we are still trying to get an encounter on this route. And our potential encounter for this route is a little pup. We do have a normal type with Chatot, so we can catch this little pup. So, we are entering into the last half hour. Actually, we're partially into the last half hour for the stream. And I had fun hanging out with you guys. Yeah, we lost 2 Pokemon, but that keeps the lock interesting. We at least didn't lose their type, which is always good. Only real downside is the encounters we've been getting lately have been monotype mons that we already have, so we're not really expanding our party at all, which I don't know. I've always wanted to use a little pup, so I'm not going to complain about that. Definitely excited. Little Pup's a puppy Pokemon. It faces strong opponents with great courage, but when at a disadvantage in a fight, this intelligent Pokemon flees. And that kind of reminds me of Toto. And my wife and I listened to an audiobook of The Wizard of Oz, which, you know, it's pretty gosh darn entertaining. It's definitely like a kid's book with the way it's talking, kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia. But I definitely think it's worth a read or a listen if you're going to do the audiobook. So let's head back to the Poké Center and release Beartic.
Why, Bork, thank you so much. The 2 of you got her Pokemon back. I'm lucky to have friends like you two. Thank you, mister. Please take these as a thank you present.
We got heal balls, so free Pokeballs. That's always nice.
Oh, those are heal balls. They completely heal the captured Pokemon on the spot. How sweet of you. I'm going to see this girl on her way. So see you later, Bork. Bye-bye.
I want to see where they went. They should just be right over here. Apparently Bianca and this little girl are just super fast, and I'll probably never see them ever again. We can come back here and fish after we get a rod for more encounters. So let's chillax. You will be missed, my friend. It's always hard to lose a Pokemon. Especially one that you've been spending a lot of time training. But there we go. Our Pokemon are all healed up. And nope, they're all healed up. We're good, thank you. Let's go ahead and pull out some of the RTMs. So Night Slash. Let's teach Night Slash to Toto, and Toto's holding something. So that is awesome. Choice specs on Toto. Thank you. You already have Bite, so I don't think I'll teach you Night Slash. Let's teach Razor Shell to Blastoise. Instead of Withdraw. And let's go ahead and take those choice specs from Toto. Not going to use them just yet. And you, what is your attack or your special attack higher? They're the same. So how much damage does Water Pulse do? 60 base power versus 75 base power. I definitely think Water Pulse has a chance to confuse. We're going to stick with Water Pulse for now. And we will continue on. So, as I said, my wife and I, we listened to Wizard of Oz, the audiobook, on our way to Hayward, which definitely made the trip go by faster for me. And we found a Toxic Orb. We don't have anyone that would be good on right now, but maybe later? Now I gotta show off everything I've learned in the trainer school. Everything? I mean, they teach you how to sit in a chair and a Paris. That's really not anything to be making fun of. But let's try out our new move, Razor Shell. Yeah, definitely not going to be making fun of this Paris. And Blastoise went to sleep. Okay, let's get Chatot out here. Chatot should be able to do some damage. Peck will be ×4 effective. That Scratch did too much damage. Peck. We need to find a team for Earthquake to take on all these electric types we keep coming up against. But we do have Little Pup to face off against them now, so I think I'm actually going to move Little Pup up to the front of the party. Get a little bit of training going for him, get some levels hopefully. Let's see here what this item is. We could have had a Drifloon, which would have added a new type onto the chain. Unfortunately, we've already had our encounter for this route. And Toto... Oh, don't play this game with me, Drifloon. Toto, bite him. You know, that's very much like Wizard of Oz 2, isn't it? That did not do much. But it looks like Drifloon can't do much to us. I think we're ready to use Order Sleuth after this. Assuming we miss. Which, you know, Toto is awesome. He does not miss. I have complete faith in you, Toto. Oh, you have Gust. What is a Gust to a Toto? He loves the feel of his hair being ruffled. We found you, Drifloon. So this bite will not miss now. I think that's how it works, right? Toto! Oh, I guess we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Why is it any Pokemon I want to use gets taken out? This Blastoise is immortal because, you know, I really wasn't going to use a Blastoise in this playthrough because I've already used Blastoise, but... Oh well. I guess we'll just keep this Blastoise on the team forever. But again, at least on the positive side, we haven't lost anything in our chain. And we really don't have anything to hurt you. So I'm not going to stay around and play with you. I'm sorry. Alright, let's go back to the Pokemon Center and deposit Toto. Toto, you may have only been with us for a short amount of time, but you did bring us the choice specs, and for that, we thank you, my friend. I just can't believe we've lost so many Pokemon this early on in the Nuzlocke. I mean, yeah, I know that as far as YouTube goes, this is the sixth episode. But we've lost like 3 Pokemon, including our starter. We lost Storm, the Wingull. I think I'm definitely in between episodes. I'm going to do grinding. I need to get this team up to a decent level. Maybe get them all up to 15. Maybe a little higher. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll look online and see what the next gym leader is going to be like and try and get something in that general area. Little pup. I don't even know what your ability was, little pup. I should. I'm a bad trainer. Oh, it's Sharon.
Bork, stop. That dark grass over there. Every now and again, 2 Pokemon will pop out at the same time. In other words, you have to be careful in the darker grass. I'm heading on to Nacreid City.
Alright, you have fun, Sharon. There's no item over here. Is this going to be one of those double battles? It is. It's a Smeargle and a Sea King. So you gotta get something to go against all these water types we're running into. I'll use Confuse Ray on the Smeargle and Growl, cause that Smeargle should be faster than Iceberg but slower than Chatot. So all it's going to get is Growl, I think. It had a White Herb? Why were you going to be... Oh, Confuse Ray. So he learned Confuse Ray because Lapras is faster. Well, that's awesome. Let's take the Smeargle out. I swear, if I lose another Pokemon to a wild Pokemon, I'm going to be very, very upset. Paul grew to level 12. Might be a short grinding session. Peck on... Yeah, that does not do much. I guess let's go for a Confuse Ray on you. And we'll go for... Peck is Stab. Might as well go for Peck. That does not do much. But maybe you'll help out Sea King? So yeah, listen to Wizard of Oz on the way up to Hayward, and it was super interesting. There was apparently the reason why the house got picked up in the tornado was not because of the tornado running into it and picking it up. The tornado formed around the house, and so it just slowly picked the house up. And there was a trap door in the middle of the floor that led down into the cellar, and Auntie M got into the cellar before the tornado hit, and so she was fine, but Dorothy went after Toto, which of course she went after the little dog, and Toto actually was running around the room while they were flying around, because they were flying around just fine in the center of the house. It would lean every once in a while and spin, and a Totodile. Iceberg, it's time to get you out of the front, buddy. I'm going to let you stay in for this fight because Totodile scares me. But, you know, Toto actually fell out of the trapdoor at one point, but because of the air pressure that was holding the house up, Toto could stand on air and he got back in the house very easily. So that was definitely an interesting part of the story to hear about that. You know, I think that Lapras should learn Surf naturally, kind of like how Salamence learns Fly naturally, because it's the fairy Pokemon. It's what it does. It carries people on its back. Don't you guys think that Lapras should learn Surf naturally? Maybe it's just me. And anyway, you know, the rest of the beginning of the story is pretty much like, you know, House lands on the Witch, the Munchkins send Dorothy down the yellow brick road, meets the Scarecrow, meets the Tin Woodsman, meets the Cowardly Lion, and they all go to the Emerald City. What you might not be so familiar with was the part of the story where apparently the Tin Woodsman, you know, he had no heart, and therefore he couldn't feel anything. He couldn't feel kindness towards anything. Yet, when he stepped on a bug and squashed it on accident, well, just by walking, mind you, we're giving that to Chatot. He cried so much he rusted his mouth shut, but he can't feel anything. And then I think you increase special attack. Let's give you to Lapras. But later on, when he cuts the head off of a wildcat to save the Queen of the Mice, he does that without hesitating. It doesn't bother him at all. But stepping on a bug does. And we're not... Well, you know what? Paul, why don't you come out? I don't know what this Cottony can do, but pretty sure I'm not going to like it. And then later on, when Oz sends them against the Wicked Witch of the West, it's very different from the movie, because first the witch decides to send 40 wolves against them. And the woodsman cuts off the heads of all 40 wolves. And then the witch sends, 40 crows against them. And the Scarecrow decides, you know what, I'm a Scarecrow, I scare crows. So the crows come at them one at a time, and he grabs each of them and rips their head off. And this is a children's book, mind you, so I would think that's kind of terrifying imagery. Tearing the heads off of crows, cutting off the heads of a wolf. Maybe I'm just a scaredy cat, but... And then there was a horde of bees that the queen sent against them. And so the Scarecrow's like, well, I know, we'll pull all my stuffing out, and we'll hide you guys underneath my stuffing, underneath my straw. The bees won't be able to find you. And then the Tin Woodman, they'll try and sting you, and they'll die because they'll sting you, and their stingers will break off. So... yeah, that was interesting. Also, the poppies came up in a different spot. They were going down the river on a raft, and they get swept down river by the current because they're just trying to go straight across to continue on the yellow brick road. And Scarecrow gets stuck in the middle of the river, gets saved by a stork later. It's funny, it's entertaining. Not really all that relevant or important to the story, but the poppies are growing along the riverbank, and that's what makes Dorothy and the Cowardly Lion fall asleep, and the Cowardly Lion gets saved by mice, so that's interesting. Yeah, and the Tin Woodsman was really just a builder and a guy who cuts down trees, so I guess about what you would expect a woodsman to be. But yeah, it's definitely a good book. After the bees, she sent the Twinkies, because apparently the Munchkins are in the east, Twinkies are in the west, and I don't remember what was in the south. But scared the Twinkies away by roaring at them. The lion did. And then the queen had actually a magic cap that let her summon the winged monkeys 3 times. And so she used her last use on the to capture Dorothy and the lion and get rid of her friends, the Scarecrow and the Tin Man. And it's so funny because Dorothy threw mop water on the Wicked Witch of the West because the Wicked Witch of the West stole one of her shoes and she got upset. I mean, I just thought that was kind of funny. Let's see, should a move be deleted and replaced with Sing? Yeah, I'll get rid of Growl for Sing. Not the most accurate move, but quite useful for when trying to catch Pokemon. And Paul learns Sing. And apparently the land of Oz is surrounded on all sides by desert. A desert that no one can cross, and that's why Dorothy and the wizard had to fly in. And apparently every time someone went in to see Oz, he had a different appearance. Like for Dorothy, he was a giant head. For the Scarecrow, he was a beautiful lady. Tin Woodsman, he was a terrifying beast. This is potentially troublesome for us. I'm going to go for Razor Shell. Please don't have counter. I don't want to lose Blaster 2. Does why not get a different moveset in Gen 5 than he does in every other move? Or every other gen? Because he really seems to be having... I know he starts out with Splash. I really hope we don't see this many Why Nots later on. Or Wobbuffets even. I hope we don't see you ever again, to be honest. Why not? Unless I want to play with Wobbuffet Claws, which I kind of do. A Pat Rat. We should be fine against a Pat Rat. But yeah, and then they randomly threw the China people. If you've seen Oz the Great and Powerful, he had that little China girl that was his friend. They walked through that land, and Dorothy wanted to take a China girl with her, but if they got taken out of their land, they just become China dolls, which is slightly different from what the movie had. It's kind of pointless to go in there, but it was still interesting. We're going to try and save some Razor Shells. What'd you do? Did you leer at me? You leered at me. How dare you? I'm just going to cut you. So, there we go. Blaster is now level 13. Our team is starting to shape up. Should a move be deleted and replaced with Water Gun? Forget Bubble. Give me the Water Gun. It's a more powerful version. Yeah, it doesn't slow Pokemon down, but we did defeat Artist Jimmy. So, does this take us directly into the next town? Should have bought more Pokeballs. And what do you have to say? Hi, I have some questions for you. Where should you prefer to play? At home. I see, I see. Then which one are you interested? The thing that everybody knows, or the thing nobody knows? I prefer the thing that nobody knows. Oh, really? I'd say you're really quite relaxed. I really don't know if that was an accurate assessment, but yeah, I guess I could agree with that.
Come here with me for a sec.
What are you trying to show me, Sharon?
If you go straight from here, there's a Pokemon Center, and use these if you want.
We got Chesto Berries. Okay, that'll be handy, considering we keep getting put to sleep.
Give your Pokemon a Chesto Berry to hold, then if it ever falls asleep, it'll wake up immediately. Oh, and another piece of advice. Nacrini City Gym Leader uses normal types. If you're a fighting type Pokemon, it might give you a big advantage.
So technically, if I have Tepig, I think if I get him up to his first stage evolution, he should have a fighting type move, so is that the only fighting type you could come across this early on in the game? I want to say it is. Okay, so I'm actually going to go outside the city right now and try and get a quick encounter in. Right here in the grass. So, our first encounter for this route is a Mime Jr. We don't have anything that we can link with you, so no Mime Jr. And our next encounter, we're going to try for 3 and then we'll call it a day. A wild Smeargle, so we can use that. The only question is, we know this Smeargle has Sketch. So what move do we want this Smeargle to have? I guess let's go for Water Gun, because we can teach it Razor Shell. We have the TM for it. Oh, I wish that we had had someone else up front. Having Ice Shard on this thing would have been much more useful. Or Sing? We could use Sing if we had someone else. Yeah, I definitely made a mistake. I should have switched out there instead. But we'll use the Smeargle for now. It's almost leveled up to level 15, so we might actually want to go a little higher with our grinding. Smeargle, the painter Pokemon. It marks its territory by using its tail like paintbrush. There are more than 5,000 different marks. That's a lot of marks. Do I want to give a nickname to the Smeargle? I do. I'm going to call you Mikey. Because you're a little painter like Michelangelo. So I think that's where we're going to cut off today's stream. Thank you guys so much for coming out and checking it out. I know there was at least a couple of you watching. I will be back next week, Tuesday at 7:30 Central Time. So if you are enjoying this, make sure to come back. Make sure to look for this to start showing up next week on YouTube with the first episode. If you missed it, you can find it there. Other than that, it's time for me to get out of here. I gotta go get ready for work. But you guys have a great day. Thanks for coming out. Bye. Oh, don't forget, we are Bork and Zim Gaming. We're professional amateurs.